You're such an asshole.
I'm trying to find it. I lost it. In typical old man fashion, I lost the request. It was here a second ago. I got a different question. Is this it? Property tax. My question is there an institution or type of account that I lost it? No, that's not it. Somebody had a question about housing. God darn it. Where did it go? That's not it. I had the wrong question on housing. Video request. Thanks, video coffee. Oh, here it is. Here it is. All right. And rights. Hello, Cappy. Thanks again for your previous video response. I've taken it to heart and doubled down on making the most of my software engineering skills. Thank you. Got a better paying and more demanding job with plenty of learning opportunities and all is going well. Hey, you got to thank all the young people who didn't want to work for a living. I mean, with the boomers retiring and all the young people not wanting to work in the first place, anyone who just wants to show up, now's the time, man. Now is the time to start working in a career. I have now bought a home within commute distance of my job in a major city in Europe. Coincidentally, I've seen you come out with videos explaining how real inflation in the United States is going to seriously outpace mortgage interest rate. I think the same is going to happen here in my country because that's how modern economics works, apparently. And this is why I bought a home a bit earlier than I thought I would. All right, we'll take a look at interest rates. I don't know what they are in Europe, but assuming you're under the euro, I'm kind of curious what the European Union inflation rate is and what the interest rates are. In order to celebrate a bit and help out new buyers like me who may have happened to listen to your content, could I sponsor a video where you run your viewers through anything you'd find useful for new homeowners should know, to know, I think you mean. Just name your price, for example. I so far gotten plenty of good advice, such as get the house properly surveyed, know where your main water shutoff valve is, considering doing some easy things yourself, and leave electrician and plumbing to the pros, etc. Boy, if you wanted a catch-all be-all synopsis, that'd be it. Do everything you possibly can except for electrical and plumbing. That'd be about it. And even then, I don't know how bad it is in Europe, but you may even want to teach yourself a little bit about electric, like take a course in doing basic electrical work. Because all these electricians and plumbers are out dealing with Karens that the lights aren't working exactly. You can fix that yourself. So, all right. So I went through and I've been a homeowner, gave me my credentials. I've been a homeowner since I was 24. And unlike everyone in Edina, no, my parents didn't help me with not a penny, literally not a penny. I have bought my own home for going acquiring and financing to refinancing and owning rental properties and all that, all self-taught. But we're at the point now where you've bought the house. So this is just kind of your basic, now that I've bought it, what do I do? And this is in no particular order, but here we go. Okay, 1, rent out a room to friends to subsidize the mortgage, especially if you are single. All right. Otherwise, well, this goes beforehand where what type of house should I buy? For pretty much every young person today, especially in the United States, you just buy a condo or like a one-person house, very small house. There's no reason to do rental property. They're going to take that away, and they're just going to limit the amount that you can rent out your property for, and you don't want to deal with people. So everyone should be buying a nice little small house, and do not buy more than you need. But if you happen to have a house that's bigger and you have an extra room, rent that room out. Especially when you're younger, rent it out now, toss that money into some wise investments or pay off some high interest debt. But that'd be the first thing. Get insurance on other stuff in your house. I don't know how it works in Europe, but we have homeowners insurance. And when you move, that is a good time when you're moving into your new home. Kind of take inventory of what you got. Don't call your insurance company guy just yet. Buy whatever else it is that you're going to buy, whether that's furniture or if you want to afford yourself a nice thing, maybe get yourself some artwork, whatever it is that you want. Anything of value, wait until you buy that. Then get the homeowner's insurance and say, okay, yes, I want my home insured, but here's here's my coin collection. Here's my stamp collection. I got this vehicle. I have this gun. Oh, wait, you're in Europe. You don't have gun. You just wait till the Germans come by and say, hey, isn't it about time? It is. V. Gates. Yeah, anything of value. So that call your insurance in case there's fire or theft or whatever else like that. Inspectors, they are completely worthless, right? Keep in mind, everyone, again, this may be different in Europe, but at least in the United States, everyone you're dealing with in the home building, contracting, construction world is about, I'm not kidding, they're about seventh grade mentalities. And that includes the inspectors. Inspectors do not find jack. They're required for mortgages and financing and collateral and perfecting the collateral. But the first thing you do, even before if you're buying a home, what you should do is do your own inspection. Now, there's plenty of videos like what should you look for in an inspection. But what I would do, you take your time, man. And whether you own the house or whether you're about to buy the house, you start in one room and you go over everything. Tighten, get a screwdriver, get a wrench, tighten. Are these loose? You know, I found on my garage door opener, there were bolts that were loose. I had to tighten them down. Look at cracks. Look at, do the doors close correctly? Follow the trim line of everything. All right. Look for any pot. I'd like to say, well, look for X, Y, and Z. No, you're looking for everything. Test the garage door, test all the doors, then go outside. All the fixtures around the house outside, like light fixtures, did they caulk around it? Can insects get in there? Can water? Water is a huge thing. Take a hose, spray it on top of the roof. Look, is the water coming out? I mean, you have got to assume a seventh grader built your house because that's who built your house. Of course, it's a seventh grader who's old, fat, and probably divorced twice, but it's still a seventh grader. So you have to you're auditing your seventh grade boys' homework is what you're doing. It's going to take a while. So whether you own or you're about to buy it, you take a look at the roof, get up into the attic, get yourself a flashlight, look around. Are the joists right? What else? You want to test the furnace. You want to test the air conditioner. You want to test the security system. Fire up the faucets, look underneath. Are there leaks? I don't care if it's new. Are there leaks? Fire up the dishwasher. The guys that they installed the dishwasher, they didn't plug it in. So you got to pull that out. Get a wire, plug it in. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough because of how true it is. You are dealing with not the smart seventh graders who made it to the eighth grade. These are the seventh graders. That's where they stopped evolving. That was their arrested development, and they've stayed there this entire time. This is where you can have a skill where you paid like $30 an hour and still be piss poor because you don't understand. I'll not be a pickup truck. It's like, what was wrong with your used pickup? It was old. I don't get the girls. Like, listen, Jessup, the girls you're going after in this town are pretty heavy. I don't know. I really would maybe consider becoming gay at this point. Women are hideous. What you saying? You ain't got a pretty mouth? No, I guess for Wyoming standards, she does. She does have a mouth, yes. So you are going to go like room to room to test the lights. You're going to test the electric breakers, like fire up everything. Does it short out? Do you have enough a wattage coming in or being pumped or whatever? Wattage, voltage. So yes, I would, and if you already own the house, I mean, spend start day one is garage day. Day two is guest bathroom day. And you're going to go through it with a fine tooth comb and find every possible little thing that's wrong. And then you might find some things that are big that need an immediate attention. Usually not. Usually even you're done. There's some inspectors that make it to like the eighth grade. Some of them actually do make it to the eighth grade. They might catch some things like that's got to be fixed. That's got to be fixed. But then I would also be looking at structural things. You go outside of the patio, if there is a patio. Is the decking good? DT, his house, they didn't have the decking anchor correctly. Oh, and that passed inspection. Those guys probably 6.5 grade. You got to make sure everything, because it's your family and your life might be dependent upon it. Then when it comes to foundation, that's hard because it might be behind a wall, might be behind some sheetrock. There, maybe pay a foundation expert to come in. That's kind of hard, but what I'm saying is just go over your house as much as you can with a fine tooth comb and find things that are wrong. The main thing would be water. That's why I'd spend a lot of time on the outside. Go up on your roof. Are there missing tiles? Do they have a cap on the chimney? Are the exhaust ports capped? Really? That's what, I mean, you are dealing, again, I don't know if I said this, man, 7th graders, you're dealing with the dumb 7th grade, not the smart ones. They went to the 8th grade, maybe even made it to 9th grade. Then they became MBAs. They became foremen. I'm a foreman. 7th graders. That's what you're dealing with. So a very thorough inspection of your house. So that drainage related to the outside drainage is very important. Unless you're like sitting on top of a hill and all the water falls, and then you got erosion problems. But you basically want to make sure that water is diverted away from your house. The main 2 ways you do that is you make sure that your roof is working and the downspouts and the gutters are all working, and that when the downspouts empty out, there's a like a tube further. You extend the gutters away from the home, and then the other thing is you look at the landscaping. Like my house kind of sits. A valley is too big of a word, but it's in a depression, slight inclination on one side, hill behind the other. And I had to put together a French drain that went behind my house, so the water that came off of the hill or the slope would be caught, diverted around the house, and emptied out on the other side. Stuff like that. And it's not hard to put. You can go online on YouTube and figure out, French drain, drainage, erosion control, how to lay gravel, how to do retaining wall. All this landscaping, for the most part, landscaping is designed to keep water away from the house and to prevent erosion if your house happens to be on top of a hill or somewhere, have like a support pillar that's on top of a hill or so, or like where it goes down. You gotta prevent the land from eroding away. Like if you got a walkout basement, that'd be pretty much the thing. So that all can be done. You don't need landscapers for that. All right. You can figure it out yourself. You might have to rent some digging equipment. You are going to have to call the gas and electric people, say, hey, where's all the stuff? So I don't dig through that. Once they mark that out, then you can kind of come up with a plan. And it's hard physical labor. I mean, I removed 2 tons of rocks. I removed them from I took them out of all the property and I put them on my driveway to provide some erosion control because I didn't want to pay for rocks. And yeah, I got a really good workout, very good workout. So your French drains, your downspouts, and it's not, you don't have to be a genius. Just look where the water is. Like, okay, it's going to flow down and depends on the permeation of your soil. Some of it will go down deep. Most of it will stay on top or maybe go down a foot or so. So if you dig a French drain down about 2 feet deep, that'll catch most of the water moving towards your foundation. There, you will also want to, if you're if you have a basement or your foundation in general, and there's water somewhere in the land there, you're going to make sure that you have a sump pump. Want to make sure your sump pump works. Some places don't need a sump pump, but that's another thing you should check. Make sure it works and that the water's getting in and then pumped out of your foundation. More on erosion, you want to learn about gravel and rocks and boulders and how dirt is actually a liquid, although it's slow and it moves slowly down with water. So you want to figure out what kind of foliage grows and holds the dirt in place. Usually that's grass, but depending on your environment, that may not be the case. So you want to talk to like a gardener or a horticulturalist. Walk your roof every year and after storms. If you're in a windy area, you want to go up there. And I'd always have like a bag of roofing tiles. Now, I'm not a professional roofer, but I know how to lay a tile here or there. And so if like a weird piece got blown off one time, well, I had the roofing tile and I had roofing nails. I went up there, lifted it, pop, 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 put a little bit of caulk in there, roofing caulk, not caulk. And you don't have to deal with trying to find a roofer. I mean, if you were Karen and you have your master's degree in public health administration and literally nothing else, that would imply the master's in public health administration was something. You have nothing. You have no value, no skills. None. You are a completely worthless person. All right. Karen has to wait for the roof guy to get there on time and hopefully sober. You just get a ladder. You grab yourself a roof tile. You go up there. Boom, boom, boom. Like, what was it? The 1930s show. Little Rascals, you know, they had their clubhouse. You just put it in there, boom. And maybe it's not the most perfect job ever, but it'll keep the water out and keep your subroof from getting water and damage and all that. Have the gas company or your heating company come audit your house for heat leaks. Do that. Like, that'd be one of the first things to do. Because you want to nip that in the bud early so you save the most amount of money. And a lot of that's cheap fixes. And you get the heat map. Here's what's coming out. You're just going to be your doors and your windows. So you get yourself a caulk gun. You get yourself some caulk exterior. There's kitchen and bath. There's clear. It depends on what you want, where it's going to be caulked. You just caulk. You know, it's not rocket science. You just, there's a crack. You caulk it. All right. Oh, here's a window. You caulk it. Maybe you get something as simple. You don't have to go, like, doors is another common thing. You get like these rolls kind of made of sand filled in. You just put that up against the door at night. You don't have to like redo the door, redo the frame. Just cheap fixes. Another thing, and this is, are you planning on living in the house for the rest of your life? You are? Well, then maybe you do want to spend the money and the time getting a new frame and all that. But if this is just like your starter home or your bachelor hut, and then like you're going to move out like in 10 years or so, or like, you know, this is just a place for you to sleep, keep it in good enough shape, but you don't do the weapons grade upgrade on that. You don't redo the kitchen. The person who's going to tell him what to do because she has the pussy, she will tell him what she wants. So there's no real reason for you to redo a kitchen, let alone do some fancy thing with the windows or doors. Just put, you know, one of those heat barriers down. Just put that up there. That'll save you the money. You're not going to care. You don't have a wife. You're not addicted to the pussy. Let some other schmuck take out the home equity loan for that. So wifey poo has white cabinets or whatever, you know, women want nowadays. So don't go overboard with that unless you're going to live there and you want to make it nice. Otherwise, if you're just a young man, that's a place to sleep. Keep it a bachelor hut. Like I have it in here. Never wash your windows. Unless you're going to live there for the rest. You really, really want to clean windows. I've never found a reason to wash the windows. Like on the interior, yeah, but the exterior, like when's the last time? I never washed them. I was in a place for 13 years, never washed them. Never replaced the carpet either. Like, you really ought to replace the carpet. Why? I'm just going to walk on it again. That's what rugs are for. So, you know, kind of depending on what your long-term goals are with the house, you never let it go into disrepair. You keep it in very good shape. It's just how pretty do you want it? And if you're going to live in it, then fine, put your effort into it. But if you're just there for like an investment and just a place to sleep, yeah, you don't go overboard. So yeah, go have an insulation. That's worth the payment for the insulation or for the heat audit. And then whatever, even if it's $200 of materials, you're going to save that back when you do that. Furnace filters. I lived in a house for 7 years. I didn't know that furnaces had furnace filters. So you'll probably want to change those once every 2 months or so. I would say also find out what your furnace filter size is and write it down, because then you will go to the store, and the store does not make it easy. Like, bring your tape measure. Oh, here's one that's not on this list. Every time you go to the store to buy something for your house, you will bring your own tape measure. You will write down exactly what you need and the measurements and everything like that, because you don't want to go all the way to the store. What is that? I forgot what because there's like 40 varieties. You need to know exactly what you're going to get. Bring your tape measure and measure it. You know why? This may shock you. Because the people at the home improvement stores are not that much smarter than the 7th graders that built your home. And sometimes they say, oh yeah, that's 2x4 wood. No, it ain't. You have to measure it. You have to make sure that, oh, yep, that's a 3/4 inch thick sheetrock. No, it ain't. Right? So you always bring your own tape measure when you go to the store. But furnace filters are the same thing. Find out exactly what kind of furnace filters you need. We talked about not washing windows. I would always have a wood burning stove in the house if you can. And if you don't want to install it, at least have a wood burning stove that could be installed later. That will become important if, I don't know, Russia turns off your natural gas. If you're going to be there for a while and you live in a cold climate, I would put windows around, lots of windows, skylights, windows. Not only brightens up the place, but it'll cut down on your heat bill because you're getting that solar effect. But windows those are pricey to install. You have to cut away a wall. It might affect the support structure. But just something to consider, or buy a house with a lot of windows. Insulate and low level heat your garage, especially if you're living up north. Go and insulate your garage. And then just have like a little low heater that kicks in at about 45 degrees. It does take the edge off. It's worth the money. Do not buy anything you don't need. Right? You want an uncluttered house. This has nothing to do with home ownership or anything like that, as much as it does minimalism and all that. But I've seen, I would estimate, at least in the United States, again, I don't know about Europe, but in the United States, I would estimate about 50% of homeowners suffer a much lower life enjoyment or standard of living because they have so much crap in their house. And to the point, I'd have to look it up, but I know just as many people, probably might be a 50-50 ratio, of people who have a garage, but no cars are put in it because the occupants of the house, husband, wife, children, even have so much crap. They don't get to enjoy the house. And I have a very simple rule in my house. It's like nothing comes in here without my permission. Nothing. And if you were to come to my new home now, admittedly, you say, man, this is sparse. Well, that's because I never owned a lot of stuff to begin with. And I've effectively lived in a one-bedroom apartment my entire life, adult life. Now I got a housemate. Oh, crap. Yeah, furniture. Oh, yeah, I get furniture. Which another thing added here, if you have Walmart.com or online, I would buy your furniture online. Don't buy it at a store. Their selection is not limited. It's not worth it. It's much cheaper online. And if you're a bachelor, you're not going to notice the difference between a $200 Walmart couch and a $2,000 Italian armoire hoity booty boo. It was made in Milan. Good. But you want, starting now, don't be these boomers. Don't be these Gen Xers where they got boxes and boxes of crap. Your house is to be not only a place for you to rest and recover, but to be at ease. And I have seen all these people with all this crap, and it just gnaws at these people. You know how long it gnaws at them? Until they're dead. And then it gnaws at the children have to come in and get rid of all that worthless crap. I am incredibly proud of myself that I have gone through every single article I've owned in my life and either gotten rid of it or I have done something with, like displayed it, put it into a book, picture book or something like that. There is not one piece of clutter in my house. And I'm not a clean freak either. It's just like there's no clutter. That couch is for sitting. That kitchen is for cooking. That table is for dining. And there's nobody's crap on it, let alone mine, anywhere in the house. Anywhere. My desk is a little, but I'm using all that stuff. So that's another thing. To really enjoy your house and enjoy your life, no crap you don't need. None. You walk in, clean house. Very nice. Very rewarding. Very mentally calming. Okay, let's talk about you buy a house, right? Let's say you're a rookie, new guy or new gal. And like me, you've been living in a one-bedroom apartment. Now comes time to, how do I want to decorate the house? It's very important. And there is no right or wrong. You may be an interior designer. You may have a very good artistic ability. But if you're a rookie, you've never done this before, I'll give you kind of the method I did. First, you got to figure out what color you want on your walls. All right. I would not buy a single piece of furniture or a single piece of art before you figure out what color scheme you want in your house. Once you get your color scheme down, the next step is what kind of furniture. Where's your furniture going to go? That's going to be determined by your traffic patterns. Where are you going to cook? What am I going to sit? What do I need? And that will ultimately determine, okay, we're going to need some couches here. We're going to need the dining table there. We're going to need stools here. We'll put the bar there, and we'll have the display case here and the coffee table there. Once you got that layout done, And not the layout, and it's delivered, and you have assembled it, and you have put everything, the furniture, where you think it's, and that includes appliances. Once everything's laid out, then you got the color, then you start figuring out what kind of art you want. So I had everything laid out first. I waited months to get the thing delivered, to assemble, to put together. And then it's like, okay, now I know kind of, all right, now I'm looking at the empty wall space. That's going to have, what's this called? Pancho and Don Quixote. That will have the Man de la Mancha Picasso thing up there. That's going to have old school Rat Pack thing. That's where the James Bond poster is going to go. And that is determined by where the furniture is on the ground. That's going to save a lot of time. That's going to save a lot of money, and you're not going to waste any. And with the furniture, I'm sorry, not the furniture. Furniture, you kind of will figure out pretty quickly. The art, take your time. Like, okay, I know that's the center of the house. I'm going to have a masterpiece work of art here, and I know I want it to be whatever. Let's say you're Paul. You want Steve McQueen. Poster Steve McQueen up there. All right, now that you got that, all right, what else do I want? I mean, one time I just put a clock up on the wall, and that really determined everything else in that area. Like, oh, okay. So, and you're a bachelor. You have no opportunity because there's nothing going on. So take your time. Take your time. Like, I'm going to try that. Let's put it in. And so it'll slowly populate. Like my game room, quote unquote, none of that's going to be able to be done until I start getting some tabletop arcade games. And I'm not buying those until there's a recession because they're overpriced. I don't know if they're overpriced. The price is what they are. But I'm going to wait for a big old recession for people to start selling this stuff on the cheap, or for boomers to die off and retire and get something at an estate sale. So that order is going to definitely help you out. Anything on the exterior that's wood, anything that requires painting, get rid of it. Get the F rid of it. Choose a color, get vinyl siding or fascia or whatever else it is. You do not want to dick around painting. Painting is a pain in the ass. Drop the money on getting your house vinyled and sided and be done with it. Or stucco if you happen to be in the southern clime. Flooring. If you can, replace carpet with hardwood flooring and then put area rugs on the floor. It makes it a lot easier to clean. I do not like taking my shoes off. I think those people were pretentious asswipes back in the 80s. Oh, take off your shoes. Take off your shoes. Shut up. Right? The only place I do not allow shoes on is in my bedroom. But I don't really go in my bedroom unless I'm going to bed. So I'm always in my socks and my slippers. But the rest of my house, like my office is crappy carpet. I even put an area rug down on that. The rest of my house is pretty much not hardwood flooring, but hard flooring, composite, wood, plastic, vinyl, whatever. You just vacuum it up, you wipe it down with a mop, but then you could put down a rug, if you want to keep it somewhat clean or whatever. Provide a little color to the floor too. But I walk in and I don't take off my shoes unless I was traipsing in the mud outside doing landscaping work, because then you got clumps of dirt around. You want that. But I personally like wearing my shoes in my house because it's a big old figure to all those snooty, take off your shoes, you're special. No, you ain't. You live in Fridley. That's a joke. No one's going to get that. Oh, keep your house, especially your garage, immaculately clean. I have another rule. Nothing on the garage floor unless it has an engine. So the lawnmower is allowed there, the vehicle and the motorcycle. All right, they're allowed on the ground. Everything else is put up in rafters, like up storage that hangs from the rafters in the ceiling. So you drill it up, and then depending on, some can hold 450 pounds. So all the garage stuff is either hanging on a wall like a tools, or it's storage stuff that goes hanging from the ceiling. And the reason is not only do I like a nice clean floor, and I don't want some garbage cluttered garage. The reason I do that is because we have discovered there are black widow spiders in South Dakota. And what do they like? They like woody areas and garbage and schnurbles on the ground. Why? Because that's where their food goes. There's like insects we don't like, bees, wasps, black widow spiders, brown recluses. In the south, scorpions. They eat on littler insects. What do littler insects eat off of? They eat off of anything that's foliage, dried or not. So there's a windy day in fall and it blows in some leaves. Well, whatever varmint and critters eat that, coming into your garage. What comes after that? Black widow spiders. Then you go to move a box of something, a black widow spider bites you, and you got to go to the hospital because they're not fun. And brown recluse, you may not have your finger after that. Don't even give them the food. This I learned fighting the great scorpion wars of 2017 to 2020 down in the Southern Command. Once you found out how bad those scorpions were, you're like, I do not want to get bit. And then you're cleaning out everything. So that's mainly the reason I put everything up top, but I keep the ground is there is no debris for black widow food and brown recluse food to go hang out. So that if I go grab some, the brown recluse says, oh, I'm getting attacked, Ermagerd. I'm going to bite it with my little fangy fangs. And then I lose a finger. So that, and that's just generally good because I guess also more so in the South, if it gets bad enough, let's say you're your typical, 58-year-old spinster, nothing, and you divorced your husband and you never pick anything up and you got cats and there's food. Well, then you get mice. You know who likes mice? Rattlesnakes. Or if you're in the South, water moccasins, vipers, those will put you in the hospital very quickly. So you do not want critters and varmint. The only thing you want alive in your house is you. So that's another thing. And then people think like, oh, he's just a good, clean person. Like, no, I don't want to get bit by a black widow. That's it. I'm not that clean. I just don't want to get bit by a black widow. We got rid of the spider critters. Gas fireplace. If you have one installed, make sure it's hardwired with a switch, not remote. Also, if you're going to do new lighting, make sure it is hardwired and not a remote. Because of perpetual improvement to the point we're fixing things that aren't broken and just, oh my God, Herman, it's remote light. What's wrong with the switch? Well, see, because Tina, the precious suburbanite soccer mom that you just married with $400,000 of student loan debt for a master's of public health ministry, it's remote light. And then she can tell her other bee friends over at the Queen Bee Hive at the manicure place, we have remote lights. We have remote lights. We have remote starts for our car. We have a remote. And it is a nightmare to take off the sheetrock, go into the bowels if that Wi-Fi thing don't work. You want everything hardwired. You do not want remote. Oh, and then by the way, remote lights work off radio. If your neighbor is close enough, you live in pristine Willows, whatever, where the houses are this far apart, but it's 700. We live in pristine Willows. It's a good school district. Well, the guy's garage door is right next door, maybe 20 yards away, and he hits the garage. Your lights might be on the same radio frequency. So that's what happened to me. And Frank, he lives way the hell down the road. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, it could be a radio interference. I'm like, oh, great. And he's just like, want to turn it on. They even have some lamps that will just decide, oh, well, you've forgotten about me. I've been on long. I'm just going to turn myself off. It's just all the American Nag Association has gotten involved in everything. And you could prevent that by having analog lights and an analog fireplace. We talked about exterior caulking the house. Make sure no insects or water gets in. Oh, and then just general stuff about the neighborhood and things like that. All right, first, keep an eye on your property taxes. If they keep going up and up and up to the point that you gotta go, you gotta move. All right. A way to avoid that is keep an eye on the city council and who they're voting for in that neighborhood. I will never live in let me rephrase that. I will never own property in a blue district, whether that's a state, county, or city, ever again, because Democrats generally don't believe in private property. They believe in community. They believe that you owe it to society to pay extra money for lazy people not to work. They don't believe that you should really own your house and that they are entitled to take some of your money, your hard-earned money, based on the value of your house and give it to babysitters and teachers and parasites. And if you don't believe me, go look at any city with high property taxes ran by Democrats. They're like, oh, I see. I see how it works here. So keep a very keen eye on your property taxes, or whatever they do in Europe. Kind of related, crime. You want to make sure crime is not getting near your place. And I kind of have a rule. If it's 10 miles, like you just every year, look at the crime map and look at the crime map before. Where's it move? It's like clouds. It kind of moves in an amorphous way. All right. Is that cloud coming? Oh, it is. You don't want to sell when crime is 2 blocks away from your house. You want to sell it when it's 10 miles, but coming in. You're like, oh my goodness, Herman, it's in the quaint, cool, prestigious area where I can brag to all my girlfriends at the Beehive about. Yes, dear. Why is my neighborhood bar on fire? This was an up-and-coming gentrified part of the major metro. So you keep a very keen eye on crime. And a way to avoid that is just to move out in the middle of nowhere where there aren't people around. This is like if you live in burb city populated areas. But there's that. And always keep an eye on your city council. Now, a lot of you are going to have HOA members. Keep an eye on that. That's just another layer of government. Oh my God. I just think it would be nice if we just raised everyone's taxes so we could have free flower beds. You know, someone from California moves in. So just keep an eye on your environment. And if things look like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna really good, you sell your place, you get the hell out. I guess another thing was never become committed. It's like, I hate to sound so dark, but this is true. You got to have kind of a very modern day approach to your home as you would love. And it was best quoted by the music band Ministry. Where you come from, it's gone. Where you thought you were going to, weren't never there. And where you are ain't no good unless you can get away from it. And I hate to say, a lot of people want to find a home they can call forever and live in a community. That is not the case. Communities are too transitory, mobile, changing. And just as you really cannot rely on a spouse for death do you part or real love, you cannot rely on a house and a community to maintain its value or its sanity or its stability. And so you cannot fall in love with a house just as you really can't fall in love with a spouse. Don't fall in love with a house. Don't fall in love with a spouse. Have an arrangement. Okay, this house is capable of providing me lodging, protection from the elements, maybe a place to hedge against inflation, build up equity. But you got to be able to move. You got to be like, nope, things are not doing well here. I'm out of here. And the same thing with your spouse, all right? It sadly is transactional. All right. They will provide love and affection or food or sex or money and stability, maybe kids. But I'm not going to like fall in love. Like, oh my. In other words, don't become emotionally attached to your house. Don't become emotionally attached to your spouse. That crap can end anytime. And you need to be mobile, not only literally or financially, but emotionally. Do not become attached to the house. I won't lie. I mean, yes, it's kind of a little, not even choked up, but like, oh man, when I sold, I had 2 places and like, oh man, yeah, I did have a lot here. And a lot of my life was spent here, but property thing, no. And girls should be the same way. It's true. I had a good time. Okay, you got fat. Time to go. Property taxes and obesity are kind of the same thing. And then security. This is kind of an afterthought. You'll want to install security system, motion activated cameras. Do not use Wise. Wise had a good camera, like it was remote and you could it was battery powered. And then their latest version, because a buddy of mine had Wise, and he's like, yeah, the remote, you plug in the battery, they last like 4 weeks, and they all download video to the main computer, and you got a backup. I'm like, oh, that's good. And it looked great. And then the latest version Wise came out with was, it's all wired. Now you want it plugged in. And it's like, okay, now I got to run a wire from that to an outlet. And I can't really close my window because the wire is going underneath it. It was literally, for those of you at Wise, that was one of the dumbest business moves I've ever seen in my life. That's like, yeah, we got new Coke, but this time with cancer bleach. Here, it tastes crappy and it causes cancer. So I don't know what is good. Also, the Ring doorbell, the brand name Ring, wholly over-engineered Batman. All I don't get Ring. I don't know if any others are better, but once again, we just got to put in all the bells and whistles, dude. I want to pull up my phone when someone rings the doorbell. Maybe record something if a turkey runs by or a fox runs. Like, okay, here's who was in your door. If there's some motion, please film it and record it. Stop giving me updates. Stop sending me email. We here at the Ring family just want to let you know that we here at Ring are making sure to make your doorbell safer. Now made with extra clear plastic, we got a new contract with the Plastic Corporation over in Mobile, Alabama. So if any of you got a better recommendation than Ring, I'm all ears. But it's just, dude, download the app. Hook it up to the phone. I should see it. That's it. That's all I want. Ring. Oh, it's Ring. Oh, well, you see, you got to turn on the Ring notifications. Why did I install it if the Ring notifications are defaulted to not Ring? The irony, it's called Ring and it doesn't ring. That's like prostitute and there's no prostituting. We just go to church and hold hands. And that's about it. All right. Oh. Holy cow, look at this. 208 people tuning in, 201 comments. Let's see if there's any super chats. And if you guys kindly would, just go ahead, subscribe to the channel. All I want for Thanksgiving, holiday. What is it? Valentine's Day. If I could get to 100,000 subscribers, that'd be nice. All right, let's scroll down. It's kind of that weird middle of Christmas and New Year's, isn't it? I'm going to be going away for New Year's, so I'll be gone for the next weekend. Mad X are $2. Do your girlfriend make you shave today? No, I did because my beard was getting so long. I left my trimmers back at home, so this is why I recommend get Harry's razors. Like, just get them. Don't bother with Gillette for obvious reasons, but don't even bother with Bic or the other ones because Harry's razors does a wonderful job. Saves you. It took me 15 minutes to shave because that's how thick my beard was. No, my girlfriend hates it when I shave. You look so young. You don't. Yeah, I'm kidding. That was a bad joke. Very bad, but good and funny. Judd Grover, $2. Hey, Captain Grumpers, any predictions to 2022? Yeah, it's going to suck more. There you go. It's going to be more of the same. Women are going to get fatter. Men are going to get lazier. More people watch more prawn. And the Democrats will come up with some new reason to be offended. Forum, 5 Canadian bucks. Get someone to shoot your place with a thermal camera during a cold day. You'll find rotten insulation and other things a lot easier than the visual. Oh, yeah, good. Thank you, Forum. Yeah, and he's Canadian, so he knows. It's cold up there. CJ, $5. I want to retire overseas like Latin America or Asia. Should I buy an overinflated house in America or save it for my retirement overseas? I don't know, man. Depends on where you're going. All I know is that you better save up your money, have a very good skill. I think the only thing else I would do is get a skill that is remotely employable and then go check out the places you want to live. And you should be able to find a condo or apartment relatively cheap and affordable. That's not the hard part of moving overseas. Like, where do I buy? What do I buy? It's like, do I like this place? Scrolling. Nonstop Dre, $2. Cappy's masterpiece is his crossing skill. I think my masterpiece, what would my masterpiece be? I think my masterpiece would be the old car art that I got up. That's probably the masterpiece. Scrolling. Keep that Cappy scrolling. Right. Right. Nonstop Dre, $2 again. Do you trust your neighbors in your neighborhood? Yeah, but I don't really have a neighborhood. I'm really out in the middle of nowhere. I guess I could be more remote. If you guys want to see remote, look up Ardmore, South Dakota. That's about the only way I could get more remote. But like, I got a neighbor third of a mile away over a hill. And that's his property line. The house is even further, but yeah, I have neighbors, but that's a loose term. Nonstop trade, $2. It's okay to say Vincent made you shave. No, Vincent did not make me shave. Vincent does not live with me. Vincent is not my girlfriend. He's the bottom bitch for another guy over in Jersey. Judd Grover, $2. So enjoy the decline. Happy New Year, AA Ron. Thank you, Judd. Yeah, enjoy the decline, man. I'm in a good spot. The house is done. I'm already done with my taxes. I just got to wait for 1099 forms. And I think 2022 for me might be a little bit more enjoyable. Some more golfing, some more relaxing. Got some books in mind. But I mean, as for society, no. We're going to print off more money. Women are going to get fatter. Men are going to get lazier and poorer. We're going to hear more complaints from the parasitic class as to why they're entitled to more of the producer class's money. Europe is going to continue to suck and be bipolar, and Trey's going to continue to make short jokes. What else? What else is it? More men are going to dip out of the marriage market. More women are going to dip out of the dating market. It's just going to be more of the same. More of the same. All right, that's it. Questions, answers. AssholeConsulting.com. I'll see you guys later.